Alrighty, hi IED. I'm excited because we've got a new project we're trying out that I've never done before. All right, and I'm calling it the room project. Okay, and this is going to get us started with the floor and walls. Alrighty, so this is what we'll need to do. Let's get to Fusion. Okay, so first thing you'll want to do actually will be to create a folder that's going to be called Room Project with your last name. All right, so pause and do that now if you have not. Okay, and I'm just going to give you a heads up. Besides the pausing you'll have to do anyway, this video might be a bit jerky and jumpy in some places because I'm going to be kind of pausing as I go, as long as I can find it, because of the way I'm doing this, but I promise they'll get better in the future. All right, so once you have that folder, you're going to start a new file, all right, and we're going to save it. All right, and what we'll call this file is your last name, room. All right, so possessive version of your last name and room. Make sure it's in the folder that you've created. All right, so I need to double click on this room project, and I'm going to click save. All right, so yeah, now it's in that folder. Don't worry about this other stuff. We're going to address those things later on. Okay. But now it is time to start our thing. All right, so let's create a sketch. And so we're gonna go from the basics here, okay, with this project. So to start, we need to create a floor, right? We've got 3 planes here. You know what looks like a good plane for making a floor? This one, right? So I'm gonna select that plane like it says. And what I'm now looking at is I'm looking flat at that plane. Okay, so it was at this angle, but now I'm looking straight at it. Okay, so I want you to make a floor. And what I'm doing right now, if you're wondering, is I'm panning. Okay, so you can pan by grabbing this hand or clicking your mouse wheel if you have a mouse and dragging. All right, highly recommend using mice or mouses with Fusion. All right. You need to make a 200-inch by 200-inch floor. All right, so we're going to take the 2-point rectangle. I recommend starting it right at the origin, all right, which is that weird little circle thing there. And, just type 200, all right, and then hit the tab key like you're starting a new paragraph, and you'll get into the other dimension. Hit 200, enter. All right, so we have our rectangle for our floor. All right, it's rather large. All right, so that's fine. I'll just make sure we're in inches. You might need to do this, so pause to check that if you need to, that you're in inches. If you're not, you need to click this and change to inches, and I recommend setting it as default, okay? You might be in millimeters, but make that your default. Okay, so we're gonna finish the sketch. All right, we need to extrude this a little bit before we do anything else with it. I'm gonna change the view. When I extrude, I like to be at an angle so I can see kind of what I'm doing. So I clicked the home to make it, change its view, all right? And we're gonna extrude this. Let's just make this thing 1 inch in depth for now, all right? So I'm gonna click OK, and boom, we've got our floor. Okay, now we need to make the walls. And you're only gonna make 3 walls because you wanna be able to see into this room well, right? So you might be thinking, how do I make a wall? Well, what we can do is we can zoom in on that edge that we just made, all right, and hover over it so it highlights, right click, and now we're using that plane, okay, so it's a new plane. It's not the, whatever it was, XY plane. This is gonna be our our ZY plane, okay? And we're gonna say, create a new sketch. All right, so on this plane, we're gonna make our wall. All right, so zoom out so you can see the whole thing. And let's grab the rectangle. And to make sure there's no gaps or anything, we're gonna start right here, okay, at that same origin corner. Same thing, this time you're gonna type, let's say 100 inches tall for the wall. And then, but it still needs to go 200 inches back, right? So hit the tab like you're starting a new paragraph, 200 inches, enter. Okay, so we've got our walls.